All right. So first, from myself and staff at First Tee of Benton Harbor, from our participants and families, want to say, thank you again for taking the time. Truly appreciate it. Appreciate what you do, not just for the First Tee of Benton Harbor, but what you do for our community at large. So what we wanted to do is just take a little time and have you introduce yourself, talk a little bit about who you are, what you do, and your relationship with First Tee of Benton Harbor.
Sure. Well, first and foremost, thanks for letting me be a part of this. I mean, the list of guests you have is great, and I'm just honored that I play a small role in this. But yeah, my background my entire career has been focused in the golf industry through the Pga of America. So my official title is Championship Director, which is just a fancy word for tournament director for the Pga of America, focused primarily on our KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship, focused in Benton Harbor, Michigan. So I'm responsible for every year that we have a championship here in our community of spearheading that and being the representative of the Pga of America, being the face of the championship, and working with a local team that goes from 4 all the way up to 20 as we ramp up close to the event, and working with organizations like our host site, Harbor Shores, KitchenAid, and Whirlpool Corporation, and of course, community organizations like the First Tee. And I'm very honored to be a part of this community that we've all kind of come to appreciate and love the support we see specifically to our championship. With the First Tee, as you guys know, we've been a partner ever since we've come here from the very beginning, and truly admire all the work that you guys do in and around the community and the growth we've seen from the success of the program. And hopefully we continue to see that long-term success as we see individuals that have come through the program be successful in their own right and either come back to the community or go into a new community and flourish. We really try to find ways that we can use this championship to amplify what's going on in the community, whether that's through highlighting it on our broadcast of NBC and Golf Channel, really trying to promote the community and the golf course, and those community organizations like yourself. Been very fortunate to partner with you guys on raising some revenues around the championship, whether that's through our program sales, our flower sale at the end of the event, and overall just recognition and communication about the programs you guys provide. And I think it's been a wonderful partnership and definitely something we're going to continue to grow and focus on. And just briefly, kind of how I got into my profession. I didn't come from a background of golf. I've played golf since I was about 12 years old, but never competitive golf. I loved playing golf, but I focused on other sports, team sports. And then in college, I was in my 6th year of college. Don't make fun of me. And I finally go, you know what, I need to get done with this. And I was working a full-time job, working 50, 60 hours a week, and also in college. And I decided that I was going to take my last year easy and took out a loan to help pay for living expenses in school and started working at a golf course to make some extra cash, and fell back in love with the game of golf. And I was studying sports management at Oklahoma State University and got to know my professor. And I always recommend to people younger, when you're in the school setting, and especially in college, it's very important. You sit up front, you get to know your professor, you raise your hand, you contribute, and because it pays back. And one of my professors, an opportunity for an internship with the Pga of America came across his desk, and I was the first one he approached with the opportunity. And I applied for that, went through the interview process, and was lucky to get a 6-month internship with the Pga. And luckily, through building relationships, doing more than expected, I was able to get a full-time position out of that. So it's very much due to my professor and the energy and effort I put into contributing in the classroom. And I've been with the Pga America now for 8 years, in the community here for about 5. So I know that was a long-winded answer, but hopefully that helps paint a picture of my background and who I am.
No, I think it's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. I've got a young man that is marching up and down these steps behind me who is interested in sports management and sports marketing, and we've been doing some small stuff around that. So I think the information will be great, not just for him, but for all the kids. Just they sit in front more than expected is something that we say around here quite a bit. So I think that's perfect. I think Coach Ryan, you got a question here?
Yep. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm wonderful. Nice to see you.
You too. So this question is regarding our 9 core values and our 10th one that the first team Benton Harbor added. Those core values are honesty, integrity, confidence, respect, judgment, perseverance, courtesy, responsibility, and sportsmanship. And then the 10th one we added was inclusion. Which of these core values resonates best with you and why?
Well, that's really a tough question to pick out one, but I always admire the core values of the first tee, and then the fact that you guys added that special 10th one, which right now is more important than I think than ever. And it's getting the attention I think it deserves. I could probably make an argument for why all of those traits have helped me personally. I'm a big believer in honesty, and one thing that I do with my team is they always know that we're going to have honest and transparent conversations. I feel like I owe that to people on my team, people that I consider my teammates, that if we don't have honesty and trust, we're not going to be successful. Or I could talk about confidence and how that helped me coming in as the youngest championship director, or one of the youngest championship directors ever in the Pga of America. Confidence played a big factor in me being able to overcome some of those fears of my first time in front of a camera or in front of a large group presenting. So I could go down the list, but the one that really resonates with me personally, it aligns with my core values. And I took some time about 6 months ago and said, what are my core values? Because I believe it's one thing to have a set of core values for a group, for an organization, but you take it another step and you say, what is really important to me? And I came up with 4 of my own, and they're curious, loyal, tough, and disciplined. And curious to me is just never stop learning, always be curious, try to find other people's point of view. And I think that factors into the inclusion value, right? You're trying to get all viewpoints. You're trying to involve everyone. Loyalty for me is just be there for others, put others first. Tough is do what's right, not what's easy. And then lastly, discipline is do what you say you're going to do. And to me, those all kind of, there's multiple relapse, but the responsibility side of the core values, I just feel like responsibility can take you so far away, or to take you so far. It aligns really well with what I consider discipline. It's doing what you say you're going to do. Be responsible for your actions, for your commitments. All of the core values I think are super important, but responsibility really kind of jumps out of the page because, again, I don't think I could be where I'm at today. I don't think I would have the success I've seen, the small success I've seen to date, and hopefully the success I'll see in the future and the growth, unless I'm being responsible with, my day-to-day interactions, my responsibilities as a spouse, as a friend, as an employee, as a boss. So that's the one that really stands out.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you. I think that's a great answer, and I think it'll resonate well with the kids as well. It'll be important for them to hear that, I think.
Awesome. Good.
Yeah, I'll jump in, Ryan. First of all, appreciate you being here. Means a lot that you took the time to be here with us today. I know we were excited to talk with you. Our kids and families, I'm sure, are very excited to hear from you. As we go through these interviews and Q&As, some of our guests have extensive golf backgrounds, and others are still pretty new to the game. I know you spoke quite a bit earlier on kind of how you got involved in the game of golf and your background. I would love to learn, what is your why? What made you fall back in love with the game and want to pursue a career in golf?
Yeah. This one, I don't think I've spent enough time reflecting on why golf is so important to me, or maybe the why behind it. I got exposed to the game of golf through my grandfather, and it's really actually my step grandfather, but he's the only grandfather I've ever known. I was unfortunate to not be able to meet my true grandfathers, but built a very good relationship with who I consider my papa, right? And when I was roughly 12 years old, he put a club in my hand for the first time, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I immediately just enjoyed the process and the challenge. And then those early memories of going out to Westwood Golf Course in Norman, Oklahoma, and playing with him and his friends and listening to, the jabs they would give each other, but also just trying to, tame the self-talk, tame that person inside that says, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to succeed, and overcome that one shot at a time. And it took me years to be consistent enough to go out and play a full round. but I just enjoyed the challenge so much. Played, as I said, casually growing up, never competitive. And sometimes I look back and say, I wish I would have done a little bit more competitive golf, but everything happens for a reason. And I truly love the game more than ever. So it worked. What brought me back to the game of golf was many things, but one of them is I just really enjoyed the challenge of kind of playing against myself. I enjoy the outdoors nature of golf and obviously the health benefits. And I also enjoy the social atmosphere of golf. And that's the thing I remember the most about going back and working at a golf course in college was the relationships I created, the guys that I got to know on a personal basis, got out from behind the counter and actually went out on the golf course with some individuals and built really strong relationships that I think will move forward forever, and golf provides that tool to continue to open doors you never thought you would have. And then obviously it opened the ultimate door, and that was a profession and a career in a sport that I love and a career that I've come to absolutely love. Why I love the game still and still go and make as much time as I can to play it. It still goes back to me, it's that personal challenge. Just the other day I was playing golf and I've been struggling with my short game. Right? I can't seem to get up and down enough. And I caught myself with negative self-talk. And I think this translates into real world. I was saying, here we go again. I got to get up and down. Yeah, I can't do this. I can't chip. And I stopped myself. And I have this mental cue when I hear negative self-talk. And it's simple as I will, watch me. Basically, it's a reminder to me that when I'm saying things like you can't do this or you won't do that, it's no, I can, I will, now watch me. And I'm talking to myself, watch me. And I said, I can get up and down. I will get up and down, watch me. And it just so happened that I did that time get up and down. And it was not every time I go and have that thought, is it going to work? But it was a reminder of how golf can help with skills that will translate into personal relationships or a professional setting. Because again, it goes back to that confidence that we touched on a moment ago of changing the narrative. And golf really does that. It challenges me in many, many ways. On top of that, it's a fun recreation. I try to answer the question a lot, what's your hobby? And I feel like I can't say golf because I work in golf, but then I go, wait, that is my hobby. I love golf. I always will love golf. I'm just lucky to work in the industry as well. And then lastly, the thing I'm most thankful for is golf is something I'm going to be able to do for many, many years to come. God willing, nothing. I can't make a turn or something all of a sudden, but I'm really excited to play golf for 20, 30, 40, 50 more years and have more of those experiences, more of those lessons on the golf course, more of those laughs with the friends, and ultimately just live a quality life through a sport that I love.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Great answer.
Absolutely. I'm going to kind of give just a follow-up real quick, not even a question, more of a statement, but when I talk to some of our older participants, once they get to kind of our last level, and then I also do this with like the kids on our basketball team, and it's not even, I coach, with St. Joe's basketball team, but it's not even kind of during the game. It's more of you made mention of the negative self-talk. And one of the things we talk about is to talk to yourself, don't listen to yourself. Yeah. When that inside voice starts to go negative and, oh my God, or I just missed this shot, or, like you said, I'm struggling to get up and down, talk to yourself and have positive self-talk. And so, we talk a lot about, vocalizing it and saying it out loud, and you're not crazy for talking to yourself, but give yourself that positive encouragement and kind of reset your mind and make sure that you're focused on what you'd like to do, not on what you can't do. So I thought that's perfect. And
the I will, watch me actually came from a podcast that I listened to by Dr. Rob Gilbert. He has a podcast.
Great guy. Yeah.
Oh
awesome
yeah.
Guy.
You guys know Guzzo at all? Kevin Guzzo, huge fan, got me into it.
Oh yeah.
But I was listening
Success
to one.
Hotline.
it's 2-3 minutes, and you used to have to call in. Now it's on a podcast, so it's more accommodating for me. But he was talking about what do the great achievers do is when they're told they can't do something, they respond with "watch me." And I took that a little bit differently, and I realized that I was telling myself I couldn't do things. And so I needed to catch myself and say, no, watch me. Almost prove to myself that I could. And I was on the way to the gym, right? And I was doing deadlifts. Everyone hates deadlifts. And I'm struggling with this weight. And all of a sudden I go, I will, watch me. And I had one of the best workouts I probably ever had. And I go, whoa, this can translate in so many different ways to, again, how can you change that self-talk? So you can look at it from responding to outside comments, or as you mentioned, Evan, is what you're saying to yourself. And I love the talk to yourself, don't listen. I think that's always an important reminder. I may need to get that like tattooed on me or something.
We are big followers of Dr. Rob Gilbert. Yeah, we're obviously through Kevin Guzzo. I heard about him years ago, but I just literally back then I was making a call every morning on my way to work. I would make the phone call, and now that it's in podcast form, yeah, we sit, and I think my son's sick of listening to me kind of talk about him and listen to him in the car, but he's awesome. So definitely for the families out there, Dr. Rob Gilbert, the Success Hotline, maybe we can put that with this information, Josh, and make sure that
absolutely
have it. And,
yeah,
it's definitely something that would help all of the kids. So not to take up too much of your day, but we had one more question for you. So kind of for the kids that are listening in, for the families that are listening in, but especially the young kids, what's something that now that you really wish you knew as a kid to help you to succeed?
Yeah. So I'm glad you didn't ask what's one thing, because I probably have a couple.
Yeah.
So I'll try not to ramble here, but there's definitely a few things. And I try to make it a point as best I can, and no one's perfect, right? So I don't want to come off as this individual that's, he's got everything under control, because we don't. But I do like to try to find time and carve out time for thinking and reflecting. And so I've actually thought about this one. You hear the question, what would you tell your 20-year-old self or 10-year-old self if you could? And so I think that aligns with it. One of the big things that I'm currently thinking about a lot is the importance of action. It's one thing to learn. It's one thing to, hear about or get exposed to, but it's a totally different next step or element when you take action towards something. So I wish I would have been more aware of the importance of action at a younger age and being okay with failure. So being willing to maybe try competitive golf or try, new skills, whether it's technological skills. Like I sit back and think, man, I really missed something there with all the tech when I was younger. So what are those things now that you should experiment? You should try. You should put action behind it. Maybe it's taking an extra course online for something you find interesting. Just the importance of action. And even if nothing comes out of it, nothing tangible, you're still going to learn something. And that in itself is important. Maybe you learn that you don't like that subject, and that's fine. So that important of action and being okay with failure. That's something I currently still struggle with is being okay to fail at something. I'm a kind of type A, want to be perfection, need to be more comfortable with failure, and took a leap of faith recently and just started recording a little podcast myself.
Oh, nice.
And just started, so it's not out there. I'm not promoting it, but I've been talking about it and thinking about it. And I was like, hey, who cares if you fail? Let's try. Let's see what happens. That's definitely one. I would also like to tell myself when I was younger that, hey, Ryan, you enjoy reading. The reason is I feel like I missed so much valuable time learning from others through reading. Luckily, now we have podcasts, which I just can't get enough of, or audiobooks. I'm a big believer in a mindset of never settle. And basically that's like continuous improvement, or always try to learn. And one of the best ways to do that is through reading. Additionally, there's this belief or saying, or whatever you want to say, that you are the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Sure.
So those people that you constantly kind of interact with, and those don't have to be people you actually physically know or have a relationship. Those 5 people can be made up of, yes, friends or mentors or parents, but they could also be an author or a thought leader. And I wish I would have exposed myself a little bit more to other thoughts and other opinions through reading at a younger age, because now I enjoy reading so much. And I feel like I'm running out of time to read all these books. So if I could have started younger, and I also think that would have helped expose me to more things to then try and learn about. This one's going to be an odd one, but I look back and my life has made a big drastic change probably about 18 to 24 months ago. And it started with one small habit, and that was wake up earlier. I've always been a big snooze and sleep in. When I started waking up earlier, I noticed I gave myself a little bit more opportunity to be intentional with my mornings and do things I didn't necessarily think I had time, whether that's reading or reflection or going to the gym or practicing, whether it be my golf game or practicing maybe the sport I'm in. Waking up earlier is, I think, something that can benefit anyone. And it doesn't have to be tremendously early. I started incrementally, 15 minutes earlier. Okay, now 30 minutes earlier. To the point where I have 2 hours of my morning before my day dictates, before I really get into other people dictate what I do and don't do. I have an hour or two to be really intentional. And I think if I could have started at a younger age, it's a compounding effect. And so it'd be even further ahead. And then lastly, as I think, we get older, this becomes more and more apparent. But again, something I would have wished my younger self would have focused a little more on is just relationships are more important than just about anything. When it's all said and done, or no matter what you're going through or what you achieve or what you acquire, the people that you interact with, the relationships you have, those are far greater than anything else. So I would definitely say focus on the relationships, build the relationships, and don't have regrets about that when you get older. So a little bit of a ramble all over the place, but hopefully that shares a little bit of information.
No, I think it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. I was kind of taking mental notes as you went through, and again, back to Dr. Rob Gilbert, but success leaves clues, reading more and, finding out how successful people got to where they are. And I've definitely personally, taken a deep dive into podcasts as well as my Audible account that, as soon as I get a credit, I already know what book I'm getting into next and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's about continuous self-improvement. And that's one of our teaching main teaching points with the First Tee is about continuous improvement and making sure that you're never satisfied, but there's always room to grow. So thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time. We don't want to take too much of your day, but this was our first, and I think it's going to be difficult to top. You set the bar pretty high for everybody who's going to drill. So
thank you.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate it. We appreciate everything. I'd be remiss if I don't mention, we appreciate everything that the KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship does for our chapter. I know not every chapter is fortunate enough to have a major championship in their backyard, but not just the fact that it's in our backyard, but you are so inclusive of us and everything that goes on within the championship. So, our staff, our kids, our families, we truly thank you and appreciate everything that you do.
Well, likewise. I mean, we really appreciate the support and how you guys help us spread the word, because, the future of the golf really is dependent on programs like the First Tee and PGA Junior League and making sure that we get clubs in people's hands, and whether they become lifelong golfers or just a fan of the game, that's all that matters. And please know that whether it's PGA, the KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship related or not, I'm always going to be an advocate, and I'm here whether it's for the team, for students, or if I can add any kind of value to the program, again, whether it's through the event or personally as a community member, I'd love to do just that.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see you on the tee box sometime soon, and hopefully see you getting up and down from some of those greenside areas at Harbor Shores.
I will. Watch me.
There we go. Hey, appreciate it, Ryan. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Take care.
See you.